A warm welcome to Anuradha Vedic Astrology. Today we are going to talk with Chandrasekhar Sharma ji on another shlok that does not seem so easy as it looks. But before that, a big thanks to all of you for liking, sharing and subscribing to our YouTube and Spotify channels and writing in your comments and your suggestions there. If you haven't subscribed to us, please do. And do remember to press the bell icon so that you can get the updates ASAP. Pranam, sir.
Namaste.
Sir, so today, what is that unusual shlok that you're sharing with us?
See, last time we saw the combinations for penury.
Right, sir.
So, as I always say, there are combinations for wealth and there are combinations for penury, and one has to, find out ways through all of them, navigate that system to be least troubled and get most out of what is promised by the chart. So
Right.
now we are looking at certain aphorisms which talk about what happened. We are told about the dasha, kala and patra. So the
Right.
individual, if the individual, and then again it is said that if somebody is son of a king, then he needs a smaller powerful chart to become a king. One who is born to a slightly lesser degree can only be wealthy, and so on and so forth. Obviously, which meaning somebody in a lowly family would rise, but he would need an extremely strong chart to rise to a very high level. Now here, such charts are only being these aphorisms talk about this. So what is being said is manda are ahi samanvite amara guru shukrendu putrekshite jata shudra kalovaripi nikhilam vidyamupiti shrayam, which means manda, that is Saturn, and this is a combination which everybody is scared of except me. But R means Mars, Ahi means Rahu. So all the three great malefics, as people prefer to call them, I call them active or cruel planets. Saturn, Mars and Rahu, if they are together, along with Jupiter. So a traditional way of looking at it says that everything will be gone, etc., etc. Rahu will finish off everything.
Yes.
This is one must understand. If such a Jupiter, who is conjunct Saturn, Mars and Rahu, is aspected by Venus and Induputra, which means son of moon, which is Mercury. If this is aspected by Venus and Mercury, then that child, even if born to a Shudra, which is the lowest of the low caste, it is actually Varna. I mean, those who somehow, attain their livelihood through hard work. So very poor people. Even then, such a child will get all type of education and also wealth. So here we understand what is happening is Jupiter is conjunct Mars and Saturn. Rahu is there. We know Yadyat Bhavagate Papi, Yadyat Bhavesh. Rahu gives results of all those planets.
Yeah.
Okay. Which he conjoins. So he gets strength from all of these three planets. They are aspected by Venus and Mercury. See, Mercury, is about
wealth.
Jupiter is about knowledge. Venus also represents wealth. And when these are combined, what else is happening? Sometimes we miss. Sun has to be near, Venus or Mercury. They have only one aspect. So all these planets, the other planets are retrograde. Think about it. Isn't it? Mars is retrograde, Saturn is retrograde, Jupiter is retrograde, and therefore, obviously, Ketu is also with them. because it is a direct aspect. Ketu also has a habit of giving results of those who he conjoins. And that is why, even if he is born in the lowest of the low category, financially, I would say, or work wise, such a boy will get lot of education and also lot of wealth. So this is a complex thing. Unless we look at what does it mean by uh, Venus and Mercury aspecting and understand they have to be exactly opposite this combination of Jupiter, etc., etc. And then where will be Sun? Sun will be either one house ahead or one house backwards, which means all these three are retro. All the planets are retro in the combination with Jupiter, including Jupiter. Venus and Mercury would be aspecting them. So, Lord of wealth, both the Karakas for wealth, Jupiter, Venus for a very high level of wealth with enjoyment, etc., etc. Jupiter himself is Dhanad, grantor of wealth, and also the Karaka for knowledge, getting connected with Karaka for intelligence, and that is why that person, even if he is lowly born, it doesn't make any difference. He will obtain all sort of education and rather all art forms, all knowledge forms and wealth. This is why it's a complex, certainly what I call the shloka. But one has to understand what is happening here, where would be sun, and then understand that all the planets are retro. We call if it is retro, it gives bad results later on. This is exactly other way.
Yes,
So
exactly.
this is talking about some great principle which I think we should, I mean, astrologers, uh, especially the young ones, the older ones, I mean, those who have been in the business for, I mean, the science for many years should understand that. Sometimes they also miss. I used to miss, so nothing wrong about it. So instead of getting into that trap of retro always being bad, Rahu and those all the combinations are extremely bad, etc., etc., one should come out of it. And that is why I chose this one specially to make people think that whether only because a planet is retro or a planet is in debility or whatever, it is not necessary that it will give negative result. Much depends on the position of the planet and also aspects and other influences coming on those planets. And so this is one shloka that I chose. And there is one more, which I think will again give something to think about. तारानाथ विकर्त नौ गदगतौ सौरेण संवीक्षितो जातोसौ समुपस्ति नीच विहितो पायेन संजीवितम. That is नीच विहित उपायेन. The ways or the manner or the marga, the direction that is indicated by people who are lowly by nature. So what is this saying is, if sun and moon are placed in the sixth bhava and aspected by Saturn, then this Jataka will follow the path indicated by lowly people. It can also mean criminals, it can be people who are have a bad way of working, whatever, or low level of working. Such a people will earn his livelihood in a good manner. Sanjeevitam. But by which way he will follow path of the people of lowly mentality and you know the bad things that he might do. We can also think about that. It might necessarily not be bad. It will be lowly work, as we call it. Why? Sixth house we know is house of not only hard work. I mean, always we talk about sixth house and enmity and nothing else. It is also house of job, working, uh, you know, service you can call it, or employment. Sauri, Saturn. Saturn is called
Represents.
Brut, isn't it? He is aspecting Sun. He cannot harm Sun, but he aspects Sun. Moon is also there in the sixth house. Saturn, Moon coming together generally gives depression or negative thoughts. So where would they express? From the work that that Jataka is doing. So this is also a very wonderful shloka, and one has to understand that though it is Amavasya, which is dreaded by people, it doesn't
Yeah.
mean that he will lose everything. The way he will work might be a different one. It could be anything. I mean, it would. This Nietzsche is a word which has to be understood, or Shudra has to be understood in the proper perspective. People who used to, uh, earn their livelihood with hard work, and when niche comes in, that is Shudra. Whereas when niche comes in, it is people who are despicable. So the way would be despicable, and still he would earn a lot. So I thought this would be of use to
Right.
us. Uh,
So we see in these combinations that though a person in the first combination we saw that the person could be coming from a very humble background and yet make a mark of himself in the world because of certain combinations. And in the second, we saw that the person could take advice from the not so very right kind of people and yet leave an impact on their wealth and their riches. So there are ways to get rich, and depending on your chart, you can take that way. And besides,
and before you close, I'll add one more thing. You will notice that here also Saturn is retrograde.
yes.
So he is more powerful than Sun himself. And so his influence is more, sort of.
Right. So whenever we want to answer or look into the chart in all these manners, we have to be very, very clear about the combinations that we see in our chart. Our combinations speak a lot. So if you are able to understand, you can make a good destiny of yourself. Till we meet with you again,
Please
Stacey.
hit the bell
Thank
icon
you.
for fresh updates. Don't forget to like, share, and comment on the videos, and please subscribe to our channel.